Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Disco Bob!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Well, if you haven't figured this out yet, I am a flamingo. That should be pretty obvious to you. I'm pink all over. I got these fluffy wings and this curved beak. Hey, if you were a fish or a clam, you wouldn't be laughing. Show this beak some respect, because this beak'll mess you up. So if anybody wants to heckle me, you're putting your life on the line, buddy. Listen, you don't want to be anywhere near a flamingo if the flamingo thinks you're edible. Like this guy here. Hey, buddy, what's your favorite food?
Pizza.
Pizza? Oh, I love pizza. You kind of look like a pizza. You like anchovies on your pizza? Yeah, me too. Now don't freak out. I ate before I came up here, so you're good. For now. I'm also a pilot. See the flying hat, goggles? Yeah, that'll give you a clue. Because pilots wear hats, don't you know? Either they got a baseball cap, or they got one of these. This leather hat with the goggles. Not really fashion conscious, we pilots. Actually, we don't care what we look like. As long as you think we're cool. There's other ways you can tell who the pilot is. Just look for somebody checking the weather app on his phone every 5 minutes. Here's another way you can tell. If somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, you want to go for a ride?" There's a 25% chance he's a pilot. There's also a chance that he's insane. Kind of a fine line there. A couple of people have asked me, "Bob, why did you become a pilot?" And I tell them, flapping is too hard. I'll let the plane do the flying for me, thank you very much. Then I can just sit back and relax, take it easy, and have loads of fun scaring my passengers to death. Uh-oh, looks like we just lost our engine. Do you see any place on this ocean where we can put her down? You should see the look on their faces when you pull that stunt. It's priceless. They're like, oh, here's one that's even better. Right in the middle of the flight, look over at your passenger and say, "Oh no." And then get on the radio and call the tower. Tower, Light Sport 687 Sierra Tango, 10 miles to the southeast at 2,500. Our tail has separated from the aircraft and we've lost all vertical control. Please advise. And then you put the plane in a steep dive and you start screaming. I can't hold it! I can't hold it! No! Good times. Light Sport 687 Sierra Tango. That's my airplane, by the way. It's a Skyreach Bushcat, made in South Africa. Their motto is, "Get a bushcat before the lions get you." Actually, what you gotta watch out for down there is the hippos. Don't wade into any rivers over there without a gun, 'cause them hippos will mess you up. That's why I moved to the Midwest. Plenty of guns, no hippos. I got into aviation a little later in life. I'm 4 years old now. I know, I don't look it, right? Yeah, because aviation keeps you young. When I'm flying, I don't feel 4 years old. When I fly, I feel like I was just born. You remember that, don't you? Being born, squirming and struggling in the dark, pecking yourself out of that shell. And all of a sudden, you see the bright light of day as you wriggle yourself free, hacking and coughing out eggshells, and you're covered in slime. That's what it's like to fly. At least it was for me. See, I had a problem with getting airsick. So every time I would go up, I'd pass out, I'd come to, I feel trapped inside the cockpit, and I get panicky trying to get out, pushing my feet on the dash, punching at the door, and then I'd throw up. It took me a long time to get over it. I could tell you stories. But aside from getting a little airsick for a while, and aside from the fact that it's going to cost you $10,000 to get a pilot's license, and apart from the fact that airplanes are expensive, and fuel is expensive, and insurance is expensive, and you're going to gain a ton of weight going to all those pancake breakfast fly-ins, let me tell you, becoming a pilot is totally worth it. First of all, you're going to love being cool. I bet you would love to be cool, huh, buddy? Yeah? Well, keep trying. Everybody wants to be cool. And pilots are cool. Pilots are stud muffins. People are going to look up to you if you're a pilot. If you're tall enough. But if you're short like me, they have no choice but to look down on you. So I get up in my plane and I get in the air so I can look down on them. And then I'll swoop down low and make them hit the deck as I whiz by their head at 100 miles an hour. It's a great feeling, folks. Some of the greatest feelings in the world come from flying. Just ask Orville Wright, who crashed his famous Wright Flyer a couple of years after their historic first powered aircraft flight. He actually crashed it, broke his leg and some ribs, and they sent him to the hospital, and they gave him morphine. The greatest feelings in the world come from flying. Passing your check ride. There's another great feeling, if not the greatest. Of course, that's after you pass. Before you pass, it's like waiting for your execution in a Russian gulag. You're up all night cramming for your oral exam. You can't sleep because your head is so full of numbers and facts. How to calculate the crosswind component, weight and balance figures, how the center of gravity is determined along the horizontal axis or the longitudinal axis. Which is it? What's the conversion from nautical miles to statute miles? Why does your magnetic compass point to the other way when you make a turn? What's a P factor? Explain the coefficient of lift. How much money is enough money to bribe your examiner? You better have your ducks in a row when it comes to the check ride. Because if you're not prepared, those ducks are gonna crap all over your head. So make sure you got at least 20 Diet Cokes in you before you go in. And make sure you bring a big wad of cash, just in case that works. You might be able to get your pilot's license the easy way. And here's one other piece of advice. When you go to take your check ride, bring a change of clothes. So the big day finally came for me. I'll never forget it. I did my normal pre-flight checklist, threw up a couple of times, and then the designated pilot examiner gets in the plane with me, and he says, "Now, I know that all your hard-earned money and all those long hours of training hinges on this one flight, and I know that your lifelong dream all hangs in the balance in the next few minutes, but don't be nervous. I just want you to think of me as a passenger. Just pretend that I'm not a nitpicking, hard-nosed FAA bureaucrat who has the power to kill your dream if you screw up on just one little thing. So relax. I'm just a passenger who's gonna watch your every move and make copious notes of your performance on this clipboard. Okay?" I said, "Get out and take all this money with you." And he did. And that day, I became a pilot. Greatest feeling in the world. Now, here comes the hard part. Buying an airplane and convincing my wife that it's a good idea. If you don't know, I am married to the sweetest little lamb on the planet. Here she is before we got married. And here she is after we got married. And here she is after I told her I wanted to buy an airplane. And here's me after 6 months of wearing her down and finally getting her to say yes. Okay, so we buy this plane, the Bush Cat, and she gets in it for the first time. And I said to her, "Now, don't worry, sweetie. I just want you to think of me as a pilot. Not your husband who forgot to let the cat in last night. Not your husband who couldn't remember to pick up the dry cleaning yesterday. Not your husband who got his hand stuck in the garbage disposal when he tried to fix it. No, think of me as a competent aviator with all the piloting skills necessary to keep you alive for the next half hour." She said, "Let me out." The next day, we finally got into the air and had quite an adventure. This is a true story. Really, this is a true story. Here I am, a brand spanking new pilot, taking my wife to an airport with a restaurant close by. I'm not going to say which airport because my lawyer told me to leave that part out. So we're about 7 miles away, and I call the tower for clearance to land. And the controller comes on the radio and he says, "Roger, 687 Sierra Tango, you are cleared for the ramp." I asked my wife, "What did you just hear the tower say to me?" "He said you're cleared for the ramp." "Yeah, that's what I heard too." So I called the tower back. Tower 687 Sierra Tango, am I reading you right? You want me to land on the ramp? Yes, says the tower. Winds 240 at 10 knots. You are cleared to land on the ramp. I'm going out of my mind. Why does he want me to land on the ramp? I call him back. Tower 687 Sierra Tango, don't you want me to land on the runway? And the controller comes back at me with this angry, annoying tone. Negative, negative. 687 Sierra Tango, on the ramp, land on the ramp. And I am so intimidated by this, because I'm a new pilot, and I'm scared, like I got a gun pointed at me. On the ramp, boy, or I'm gonna kill you! So I says to him, Roger, Tower 687 Sierra Tango, cleared for the ramp. Woohoo, here I come. Woohoo, here I come. Like I'm having fun or something. Let me tell you, right now, I am scared to death. Looking back, I should have said something like, Tower, are you out of your freaking mind? Or maybe I should have said, you are endangering my life and the life of my passenger, you inhuman monster. Or maybe I should have said, what the? And I don't think this is a good idea at all. But I didn't say anything, because pilots are cool. I landed on the ramp like some obedient dog. And there were other airplanes taxiing on that ramp when this was happening. This was nuts. I came to a stop, and I'm just freaking out right now. And then the controller comes back on the radio. 687 Sierra Tango, hey man, I am so sorry. I thought you were a helicopter. And I said, gee, I hate to think what would have happened if you thought I was a banana. Somebody needs to have their eyes checked. And he says, well, you landed safely, no harm done. I guess, taxi to park. So I parked the plane, took a deep breath. I'm just thinking about what just happened here. And then I see a whole bunch of people from the FBO running out to meet us. And I open the door and I step out and they're all like, Sir, are you okay? Are you okay? Do you need medical attention? And I said, no, I'm fine. But is there somebody who can come out here and clean my seat? Yeah. I was in the grocery store the other day, buying some sardines. This lady comes up to me and he says, you're Disco Bob, aren't you? And I said, yeah, that's me. And then she got this funny look on her face, like something wasn't adding up in her head. And she says, I thought you were just this little puppet on the Bush Cat Tom YouTube channel. And I said, where did you get the idea that I was a puppet? And she goes, I don't know, you look like one. Your mouth doesn't move when you talk, and it's so obvious that someone is behind the scenes manipulating you in some way. And I'll admit, I got a little annoyed by that, because I'm not a puppet. So I said to her, you know what you are? You're a flamingophobic. No, I'm not, she says. I love flamingos. I wish I had a flamingo for a pet. So I said, oh, you think flamingos make good pets, huh? What, you're gonna keep him in a cage and lead him around on a leash? Make him do things he doesn't want to do? You know, that's what Bush Cat Tom does to me all the time, and I'm getting really sick and tired of it. She knows now I'm getting a little revved up, and so she says, "Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. Here, let me pay for your sardines. And that'll prove that I think that you're a real flying flamingo." And I said, "Okay then." There's another way you can tell a pilot. Give them free food, and that'll smooth things over. Speaking of food, man, I gotta eat something. Hey, buddy, you gonna finish that or what? Huh? Yeah, good. Okay, just bring it to my dressing room, alright? Thanks. Okay, just one more thing I want to say before I'm done here. Oshkosh, AirVenture, it's coming up, folks. And look, if you see Bush Cat Tom there, you tell him to give that flamingo of his a raise. Because he's not a puppet. He's a pilot. Okay, that's all for me, folks. Thank you. We'll see you all at the Bush Cat booth. Good night. Thank you very much.